Because she is one of my favorites, I will start my character studies with Emily Thorne aka Fauxmanda. From the minor characters of Revenge, she is the most intriguing, and since she is Emily's alter ego, she got the most elaborate backstory concerning all the other minor characters. By the way, this will be my first video for which I had a little help from ChatGPT. Since I have not studied media science or psychology, I had to do a little research for this little podcast, so most of the questions I am answering here as best as I can came from ChatGPT. Though I must admit, for a real character analysis this will be far too superficial, and I left a lot of questions out, like the perspectives of the audience and the character's influence on television in general and regarding his significance and legacy. I do not want to dive into that cause I am feeling not that much confidant theorizing, something I am not equipped to do, so I added my extra points. What are my favorite episodes and significant moments during the show for the character? So let us begin. Like many minor characters, Fauxmanda was not supposed to stay that long on the show. Her appearance was just planned for a couple of episodes.
In case you hadn't noticed, she wants you gone. And when Emily wants somebody gone, believe me, they go.
In case you haven't noticed, I do things in my own terms.
So here backstory is not as elaborate as it could be, and we have many cliches regarding her backstory. Emily Thorne was Amanda Clarke's cellmate. She is as dangerous and violent as Amanda, but not at all that smart. Like Amanda, she lost her parents very young but in a car accident, so she is an orphan, too. She experienced abuse in her foster home, but it is kept in the dark if she was sexually assaulted or just physical abused like Amanda.
My last foster father abused us. I put a stop to it.
The only thing she was hiding is that her foster father abused her growing up. She spent 2 years in juvie for defending herself.
But since she is showing her sexuality in such an aggressive way, I think she might be sexually abused by her foster father. Anyway, she defended herself with a scissor and landed in juvenile detention. At first she does everything to provoke Amanda to get her attention, and eventually they became friends, or at least allies, in prison. Emily Thorne is a few months younger than Amanda Clarke, so Amanda was the one who got out of prison first.
I'll be back for this. And I'll be back for you too. I promise.
It seems as if Amanda already formed her plan to change identities with Emily and therefore promised her to come back. But this is a huge plot hole, since before Nolan's intervention she did not know her father was innocent, so she could not possibly have a plan to revenge him yet. Maybe she already grew fond of Emily and wanted to stay in contact rather than just manipulate her. However, when Emily is coming out a few months later, Amanda was already waiting for her. Until she left for Japan to finish her training with Takeda, she told Emily everything she had to know about herself, so that she could persuasive impersonate her. Although Fauxmanda states later she would have done everything for Amanda, I think the money Emily gave her.
You know I'd do this for you anyway, even without the money. You're the closest thing I ever had to a sister.
$500,000 was a good incentive for this charade. What I still do not understand is how Fauxmanda could spend all that money in a few years. In season 4, David is very much upset about the life circumstances Amanda lived in because he left her a fortune with the company shares of Knoll Corp.
She never got the money, did she, Nolan? She only got $100,000. That's quite a discrepancy. She was scraping by. She worked as a stripper, for God's sakes. Oh, she burned through $500 million without leaving a paper trail.
Yes, $500,000 is not the same, but it is a big amount. What did Fauxmanda do with the money? Cause she obviously is not living like a great lifestyle. No, instead she lives the typical life of a girl who had been abused and cannot stand a normal job. She works as a stripper, though it seems that she is no prostitute, but those things tend to be fluent, so I guess she has at least seen and maybe also experienced sexual assault again. You can say that after Amanda left her she is in a bad place, which brings us to her character and motivations. Like Amanda, Emily had to learn to defend herself and was totally alone when her parents died. We only have one picture of her as a little girl with her parents, and she looks as happy as Amanda before fate stroked. She seems to have no siblings and we get nothing about her foster family, so I assume that she was shoveled around like little Amanda and did not have the time to make friendships. And after ending up in prison she was so needy of a friend that she jumped at the first opportunity with Amanda Clarke. Maybe her obsession started when she got to know about Amanda's father and what he did. A little part of her could have agreed to change identities because she wanted to be famous, even if it was for a bad thing. In a way, Fauxmanda is addicted to attention. Like when she feels overlooked by Jack and lashes out by flirting with a girl. Besides Victoria and Emily, she is the female character who is using her sexuality and attractive body to get what she wants the most in season 1. Right away she is flirting with Nolan and Jack. She is so desperate to belong to someone that she even risks a fight with Emily. even though she seems to know how dangerous that can be. I think at first her character was just created to stir up trouble for Emily, and I must admit it was fun to watch how she stealed Jack away from her and did everything to undermine Emily's plans for her. But she is also very much loyal to Amanda.
Come with me. I wish I could.
Like with almost every one of her loved ones, Emily and Fauxmanda share a love-hate relationship. Fauxmanda seems to be a bit in love with Amanda, but definitely wants to have her all for herself. Maybe she wanted to punish Emily for having a boyfriend and a friend like Nolan instead of being exclusive with her. So she does everything to become Jack's girlfriend to hurt Emily, 'cause she knows best how much Jack means to her. It is fair to say that Emily and Fauxmanda share many character traits, like their lack of impulse control. Though Emily learned to control herself better, but both women are very revenge and resentful. Every little insult can make them explode. While Emily is putting her energy in scheming and plotting against the ones who wronged her, Fauxmanda approaches them directly, like when she is buying a gun to shoot one of the Ryan brothers to save Jack, or when she blackmails Conrad to save her family.
So it has been you all this time.
I haven't even begun to make you and your family suffer for what they've done. You never, ever utter the name Porter again, or I promise I will take a wrecking ball to every bit of this pathetic excuse for a life you've chosen.
That makes Fauxmanda not dumb. She is just handling things more direct and speaks about problems, which is much more healthy than Emily's way, keeping it all inside and feeding on her hate. Although it is totally out of character, I like how Fauxmanda changed in season 2. After she got pregnant, she gets far calmer and thinks more than just acting out, which has a lot to do with the fact that now she has to protect a family, so she has more to lose. I think they made her a bit smarter so she could help Emily more in season 2. For me, that is not so far-fetched, cause we see her research about pregnancy-related unwellness. So now that she has the time and calmness, she might have read more and self-studied a bit like Amanda did in her youth. With Emily and Nolan around, she must have felt very much intimidated and inferior in season 1. So maybe she tries to compensate even more as she was in Japan with Takeda. He must have taught her something. Her renewed and more pleasing character made her spoiler alert death even more sad. Still, it is a shame that they did not use season 2 to give us more about her relationship with Amanda. In season 1 they told us much throughout the flashbacks, but in season 2 they concentrated more on Jack's relationship with Amanda and the complicated situation with Fauxmanda trying to be Amanda for Jack and fulfilling his childhood fantasies. For me, Fauxmanda was far more intriguing in season 1, not alone because of her ambiguous relationship with Emily. We will talk about that more when I get to Fauxmanda's relationships. Also because she had a storyline of her own, separated from her story arc with Jack. In season 2, besides helping Emily from time to time and connecting with Charlotte, Fauxmanda is just seen with Jack. Her and Jack's problems and coping with the fact that they are becoming a family is taking too much space in season 2. Until Fauxmanda's only 2 goals are protecting her family and Emily, and of course keeping her secret to keep Jack on her side. So her character was doomed from the start. She had to die as a pawn in Emily's game.
Did Amanda get what she deserved? What about Amanda Clarke?
Poor girl. She chose the wrong enemy.
Once the Graysons start connecting dots, because they know what Amanda Clarke was trying to do to them, they just killed the wrong girl.
Yeah, you're right.
Cause her only purpose from the start was to keep Emily safe by keeping her real identity a secret as long as possible. Meanwhile, the writers obviously did not know what to do with Fauxmanda, so they went the simple way by making her a wife and giving her the most boring storyline in season 2. I am still angry how much potential Fauxmanda could have had, especially when she was trained by Takeda. Instead of giving her this pregnancy plot, I mean, she could surely have lost the baby, which would have been a perfect reason for her and Jack to break up, and her becoming bitter and seeking revenge. They could have made the Graysons directly or indirectly responsible for her losing the baby, so she would have had a great motivation in helping Emily's revenge agenda. By the way, even though Emily seemed to have told Fauxmanda everything about the conspiracy at the end of season 1, does Fauxmanda know everything when she is finally blackmailing Conrad? There are surely things Emily left out, cause she is a control freak and constantly tries to control Fauxmanda by withholding important information from her. Anyway, besides her conflict telling Jack the truth or not about her lies, there is not much space for self-reflection or inner conflicts. Fauxmanda is constantly confronted with the threat of losing everything she has gained in season 2. First, Emily is threatening to expose her to Jack. Unfortunately, a see-through empty threat Fauxmanda clearly does not buy. Later, the threat of the Ryan brothers who wants to take revenge on Jack. Finally, the Graysons, who are after Fauxmanda because she impersonates Amanda Clarke. So very much like David Clarke in these flashbacks, she is the innocent lamb destined to be slaughtered. At least they granted her a brief time of happiness with Clarke-Porter. Which brings us to her relationships. But before we get to her friendships and romantic ties, we have to deal with the most obvious character trait she shares with Amanda Clarke, her psychopathic tendencies.
I'm happy I'm still alive. You should be too.
Amanda would never hurt me.
Right, because that's such a stretch for a violent psychopath.
Though Emily Thorne is with her assumed sexual assault and the aggressive behavior a far better candidate for a sociopath than Amanda. I think they both are no real sociopath. Although Nolan loves to call both women out on it several times during season 1. Like Emily, Fauxmanda cares for other people and shows compassion for Amanda and Charlotte Clarke. She even shows compassion for Amanda's mother, Cara Clarke, who is a total stranger to her. The only difference between the two girls is that Fauxmanda is actually willing to kill someone to protect her loved ones. Major spoiler alert. She murdered Frank to keep Emily safe. And she plans to shoot Nate to protect Jack and her family. And in the episode with Tyler's death, it is unclear if she killed him to protect Emily from him, cause Tyler told her his plan to frame Emily for Daniel's death. So like Amanda, Emily learned to protect and defend herself with deadly violence. Yet Emily learned that killing people would get her in trouble, so she found more elegant ways to take her targets down and punish people.
The guy had it out for you. I was protecting you.
You didn't have to kill him. There are other ways to handle the situation.
Even when she is dragged against a wall, she never killed anybody on the show. In season 1 and 2 you can say that Fauxmanda was there to do the dirty work, and when Aidan is coming back like in true paternalistic fashion, he becomes Emily's protector. However, Fauxmanda, in contrast to Emily, does not enjoy inflicting pain. She does all the bad things just to defend herself. Okay, she lured Frank into a trap, but only because she saw no other way out. And maybe she was right by telling that Emily would have done the same thing, since Frank threatened her and Nolan more than once, and he almost killed Lydia. So Emily was well aware of what Frank Stevens was capable of. With Emily's and Amanda's character, we see what a bad childhood and a prison detention can do to troubled young girls, cause both share the same psychological pattern. They both have major issues with impulse control and violent tendencies. Both women have problems with their identity because they are forced to live under a false name. The difference is Emily does this by choice and is fully aware why she needs to do this. Fauxmanda's motives are more confusing. She does not want to disappoint Amanda and also is lured with money and the perspective of having a lifelong connection to Emily, a dream for any obsessed stalker. Which brings us to one of the most important relationships in Emily Thorne's life, Amanda Clarke. Maybe it started as some kind of protection, cause Emily Thorne is obviously not that smart as Amanda, and surely comes not from the same social milieu. We do not get to know much about Amanda's education. I assume she was too young to enter school before her father got arrested. So I guess her school education was just rudimental, like it must have been on Emily's part. So they start at the same level. But Emily's mind is analytic than Amanda's. In my opinion, Emily tended to get in trouble and win fights with her ability to fight dirty and just be stronger than other girls, while Amanda tried to stay out of trouble and used her mind to torture the other girls and keep them at bay. So it is not far-fetched to see that Amanda was some kind of protector for Emily, which strengthened their relationship and eventually made them become friends. After their time in prison, the relationship went asymmetric. Amanda just saw in Emily a needy girl she could use to her advantage. She knew in order to take a stand against the Graysons she had to disguise her real identity. And what could be a better way than presenting a decoy? So in my opinion, Emily had always in mind that this girl was in great danger. When Fauxmanda is finding her in season 1, she is that dismissive cause she wants to protect her. A pattern they already established with Nolan and Jack, who she rejects constantly in season 1.
What's my little girl with the infinity tattoo up to today?
Suddenly she's thinking of filing a restraining order.
Wouldn't kill you to try and be nice to me.
Not part of the plan. It's just you're saying it to the wrong girl, Jack. I'm seeing Daniel. I thought you knew that.
Not only because she wants to stay isolated and focus, but also to protect them.
So that's what this is all about? Protecting Jack.
Yet their relationship is much more complicated in season 1. While Emily seems to have not wasted a thought on Fauxmanda, Fauxmanda has developed a serious obsession with Emily. Maybe they established this to mirror Emily's obsession with Victoria. Anyway, Fauxmanda is seeking a far closer relationship to Emily, and when she denies it she turns to Jack, and follows two goals: getting Emily's attention and establishing a further connection besides their identity swap. The second is to hurt and punish Emily for rejecting her. 'Cause she knows what Nolan only assumes. Emily is still in love with Jack. When Fauxmanda gets pregnant and Emily's interests shift towards Aiden and her quest to find her mother, they get along far better. Emily seems to accept that Jack has become unavailable for her, and she tells Nolan more than once she just wants him to be happy, even if that means giving him up. So for now she is at peace with her new identity and the prospect of losing both her childhood love and her identity from the past. In season 3 she strengthens this idea with telling Nolan she has no idea who Amanda Clarke is.
The truth is, I have no idea who Amanda Clarke is anymore.
Of course in season 2 they strengthen all of Fauxmanda's relationship to make us feel her loss and give us the maximal pain. And Emily seems to let go of Amanda even more when she is bringing Fauxmanda and her half-sister Charlotte together. We see how hard it is for Emily to give everything up. Strange it is as if they changed positions. In the flashbacks and in season 1 Fauxmanda does everything to please Emily and make her happy. Now it is the other way around. Emily gives Fauxmanda everything they both wish to have, a family of their own. Instead of revealing herself to Charlotte, she keeps control over both girls by establishing a relationship between Charlotte and Fauxmanda. And after a but hesitation, Fauxmanda jumps at the opportunity, having yet another surrogate for her dead family. Maybe even a surrogate for Emily as her surrogate sister. Though we had not seen much of their bonding, it is only natural that Charlotte wants to connect with the woman she believes is her older sister. We saw how desperate she was getting to know more about her real father in season 1. And becoming an aunt must have been exciting, too. I like that they briefly address Fauxmanda's bad conscience. 'Cause in season 2 she is the first time aware of the damage she and Emily are causing with their lies. Another reason why Fauxmanda had to die soon. Otherwise they had to address her most important problem. Her whole life was built on a lie. And she cannot possibly live like that forever. Even if Emily never intended to be Amanda again, Fauxmanda might had someday the wish to be her true self again and live an honest life. Which brings us to her most precious relationship that was built on a big lie, Clarke-Porter. Surely Emily Thorne has no problems to lie to get what she wants. Another character trait she shares with Amanda. So lying to Jack to make him love her was an easy option. But throughout season 1 Fauxmanda developed real feelings for Jack and felt bad for her decision.
You want the whole truth, Jack? The truth is I've made mistakes. I've pretended to be something I'm not, and that little girl you loved, she's not me.
So in my opinion she did not only left to protect Jack but because of her bad conscience, too. And I must admit when she came back pregnant my first thought was that she was lying again. Either that this baby was not Jack's or that she was not pregnant at all. Would have been fitting to her psychosis, which could have got worse under Takeda's influence. So that could have been an intriguing storyline for season 2. How Fauxmanda slipped more into an acute psychosis and is lying to everyone including Emily, who had to uncover the truth to protect Jack from this very violent and sick woman. Far better than a very similar storyline in season 3 with Aiden and Nico. Instead they decided to make Fauxmanda more likable and turn her character upside down in season 2. For Jack and his private life this was nice, but it was also very boring. 'Cause even when they tried to stir up trouble it felt very much forced. First his late doubts if he was the father, incensed by Emily, who clearly was still jealous of their lick at the beginning of season 2. Second their fight about keeping in touch with Charlotte and the Graysons. Again a dispute Emily was responsible for by bringing Charlotte and Fauxmanda together and letting her keep in touch with Victoria to gather information she could not because she was separated from Daniel at that time. Finally the outside threats with the Ryan brothers and Conrad Grayson, who were just there to make sure Fauxmanda would pay the ultimate price for her lies and her loyalty to Emily. Do not get me wrong, I liked the wedding and the idea Jack having a happy future with his soulmate. But they never really addressed that all this was just an illusion built on lies. In some way, Emily controlled Jack's life and future with this stunt. All behind his back. And she maintained control over Fauxmanda, cause she knew all too well that with one word of Emily she could lose everything. So regarding Fauxmanda's character and story arc, season 2 was very much inconsistent and made far too much changes to her character. Even how she coped being a mother. Okay, they briefly addressed her doubts being a good mother. But when they showed her with the baby she looked perfectly happy. And besides their space problems, Jack and Declan never spoke about family issues with Fauxmanda. So in season 2 it is hard to find some favorite and significant episodes for Fauxmanda. Only 2 come to mind. Her wedding with Jack and her death.
Clarke-Porter, you are the most kind and loving and generous.
I would say I don't deserve you, but If you've taught me one thing, it's that everyone deserves love.
You may now kiss the bride.
Jack, and my baby, I need to know you'll take care of them. Give me your word.
I promise. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Don't be. You've given me the one thing I thought I'd never have, a real family.
Which underlines her cliché-like and simplistic character in Season 2. This intriguing character with so much potential in Season 1 was reduced to the illusion of a perfect mother and wife and ultimately left the show as a literal sacrifice for Emily. In this season they would even fail the Bechdel test. We have two women and they have more than just a role name. Of course only because they changed identities. Yet all they do in Season 2 is speak about men. In this case about an important man for both, Jack Porter. Even when they talk about the Graysons or Charlotte. If Fauxmanda is not bringing up Jack and her fear how he would react, Emily is mentioning him to blackmail Fauxmanda. A far cry from Emily Thorne's introduction in the first season. Therefore the first episode with Fauxmanda will always be my favorite.
Hands to yourself or I use the cuffs. Or not. Okay, caught me. Time Magazine's daughter of the devil in the flesh.
I also loved the episodes in which she conspired with Tyler against Emily. That was a very nice twist and totally fit her psychotic and disturbing character.
Even after everything I showed her about how you played her for a fool, she still wouldn't believe me. You must have really done a number on her head.
We talked to her.
Yeah, go for it. She's actually right behind you.
Who's the fool now?
Amanda, I don't know what lies he's told you, but you need to listen to me.
No, you listen to me. I've sacrificed everything for you. I gave you my name. And what did you do? You took away the one thing in my entire life that meant anything to me.
I had to protect Jack from all of this.
He's talking about you and me.
Besides that, nothing really stands out. Like many recurring characters on the show, the writers kept bringing her back to stir up trouble. So she shared a similar function as Lydia Davis. And Crazy Louise was in Season 4 some kind of a surrogate and strange tribute to her. I guess she only lasted that long on the show because she was a fan favorite and they used her death as a turning point and mark in the otherwise very dull second season. So what do you think about real Emily Thorne? Was she one of your favorite characters or did you hate her? What was your most or least favorite storyline and moment on the show? If you like to share, let me know in the comments.